You might remember last month's outrage over this new smart TV that can spy on you. But instead of that issue dying down, it turns out more new TVs can share details about what you are watching.
Your TV watched you argue with your spouse last night. Not metaphorically, literally. And the brand sitting in your living room right now? It sold that audio to a company you've never heard of. 7 manufacturers are doing this, but one of them is collecting something far worse than conversations. Your smart TV is watching you right now. And I mean that literally. Back in 2017, Vizio got caught doing something so shady, they had to pay $17 million to make it go away. For years, they secretly tracked 11 million TVs without telling anyone. Not a single user knew. Here's how it worked. Their tech, called Smart Interactivity, takes a snapshot of your screen every single second. Every single second. Then it matches what you're watching against a massive database. Keeping Up with the Kardashians? They knew. That weird documentary you watched at 2 a.m.? Yep, that too. But wait, it gets creepier. Vizio didn't just track what you watched. They bought data from brokers to figure out your age, income, whether you're married, even how big your house is. They built profiles on people like they were running a dating app for advertisers. And what did they do with all this juicy information? Sold it. For pennies per household. You weren't the customer. You were the product sitting on a clearance rack. Now here's what really gets me. After paying that massive fine, did they stop? Not exactly. Their 2024 privacy policy admits they share data with 47 different partners. 47! That's more partners than most people have in a lifetime. Then Walmart swooped in and bought Vizio in 2025. So now the company that knows what groceries you buy also knows what shows you binge. They can literally connect your snack purchases to your Netflix habits. Think Vizio was the worst offender? Samsung's privacy policy once told users to avoid saying anything personal near their TV. The warning came straight from Samsung themselves. Samsung's 2015 privacy policy contained a sentence so creepy it belonged in a horror movie. It warned users not to discuss personal or sensitive information near their TV. Read that again. The company literally told you their television was eavesdropping. Their voice assistant, Bixby, records audio clips and ships them to servers in South Korea, Ireland, and the United States. 3 countries processing what you say in your living room. Comforting, right? But here's where it gets sneaky. Samsung's ACR system hides behind something called Viewing Information Services. Finding it requires clicking through 6 different menus. 6? Most people give up after 2. And Samsung knows this. A security researcher in 2023 discovered something disturbing. Samsung TVs were sending data packets to advertising servers every 15 minutes. Even when nobody was watching. Even during idle states. Your TV was gossiping about you while you slept. Then there's the SmartThings app. Connect it to your Samsung TV, and it demands access to your phone's contacts, location, and microphone. Why does a TV remote app need my contact list? Does it want to recommend shows to my dentist? The real kicker, though? Those ads plastered across your home screen. You paid $800 for this television, and Samsung still uses it as a billboard. You can reduce the ads. You cannot eliminate them. It's like buying a house and discovering the previous owner kept a key. Samsung sells premium hardware at premium prices, but they still treat your viewing habits like inventory to auction off. So what happens when tracking survives even after you specifically turn it off? LG has that answer, and it sparked an international scandal. A British IT guy named Jason Huntley made LG look pretty foolish back in 2013. He noticed his TV was chatting with LG's servers constantly. So he did what any curious tech person would do. He dug into the data packets. What did he found? His TV was sending viewing information even after he'd turned off the collection setting. The off switch was basically decorative. A fake button. LG apologized and pushed a firmware update, but the damage to trust was done. And here's where it gets weirder. LG's system doesn't just track what you watch. It reads the file names on any USB drive you plug in. So that folder of vacation photos, your collection of downloaded movies with questionable titles, LG's servers know about them now. Why a TV company needs to catalog your personal files remains a mystery nobody at LG has adequately explained. Their tracking tech is called Live Plus. Sounds friendly, right? It overlays contextual ads during your content. Pause a cooking show, boom! Here's an ad for a fancy pan you definitely don't need. But wait, there's more. LG's WebOS tracks every app you open, how long you use each one, and what time you're most active. They're basically building a diary of your evenings. In 2024, LG got even bolder. They announced their TVs now use AI to predict what you want to watch before you know yourself. Sounds helpful until you realize the prediction only works because they've studied your behavior so intensely. The real kicker? LG sells this viewing data to Nielsen, who combines it with your grocery store loyalty card purchases. Risk verdict? High risk. And speaking of data partnerships that should concern you, Roku might be the sneakiest one yet. 80 million American homes have a Roku device. 80 million. That's more households than own a dog. And here's what most people don't realize. Roku makes more money selling your data than selling you the actual device. Seriously. Their hardware is basically a loss leader. The real business? Advertising, which means they need to know everything about you. Their ACR system comes on automatically. Out of the box. No asking. No permission screen you might have missed. It just starts watching what you watch. Streaming apps, cable channels through an antenna, even that old DVD player you connected. Roku sees it all. But wait, it gets better. Roku builds profiles that follow you everywhere. Your phone, your tablet, your TV, all merged into one giant advertising dossier with your name on it. They literally admit in their privacy policy to collecting inferences about your interests, preferences, and favorites. That's corporate speak for we're guessing things about you based on your behavior. Their privacy policy, by the way, 4,300 words. War and Peace was shorter. Okay, it wasn't, but you get my point. Then, 2024 happened. Data breach. 576,000 accounts exposed. Viewing histories, payment info, the works. You'd think that'd be the end of it. Nope. Weeks later, another breach. 15,000 more accounts. And here's the kicker. Roku runs something called OneView. It's their advertising platform, and it promises advertisers they can target you based on 1,500 different audience segments. 1,500 ways to categorize you. Risk verdict? Extreme. Now, if you think Roku's aggressive, wait until you see what Amazon does when your TV reports directly to the Everything Store. Amazon doesn't just want to know what you watch. They want to know everything. Here's what makes Fire TV different from every other brand on this list. Amazon already knows what you buy, what you ask Alexa, what your Ring doorbell sees, what groceries you grab at Whole Foods. Now add your TV viewing habits to that pile. One company, one massive profile, one very detailed picture of your entire life. And the watching never stops. Fire TV sends data to Amazon servers roughly every 3 minutes when you're using it. Not just what you watch. They track when you pause, when you rewind, how long you hesitate before choosing something. Your indecision is data. But here's where it gets weird. Amazon employs thousands of contractors around the world who listen to Alexa recordings. Their job? Improve accuracy. Sounds innocent enough. Except some of these workers have overheard medical conversations, private discussions, things people said in their own living rooms thinking nobody was listening. Oops! The company even holds patents for technology that could analyze background sounds in your home. Coughing? Here's a cold medicine ad. Baby crying? Diaper deals incoming. They haven't activated this yet, but they patented it. That should tell you something. And let's talk money. Amazon's advertising division made $47 billion in 2024. Billion. With a B. Your Fire TV data feeds directly into that machine, helping them target you across every corner of the internet. You're not buying a TV. You're installing a corporate surveillance device that happens to play Netflix. Still, Amazon isn't alone in the data-hungry game. Sony takes a different approach, and their PlayStation connection opens up tracking possibilities most people never consider. Sony's the fancy one. The "I paid extra, so surely they respect me" brand. Yeah, about that. Their Bravia TVs run Samba TV's tracking technology. This isn't some small operation. Samba watches your screen second by second, then matches your viewing with every other device in your household. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, all connected into one neat little package. But here's where it gets sneaky. Samba TV got caught designing their opt-in screen to look exactly like a boring setup step. You know those screens you click through without reading. That was intentional. Millions of people activated full tracking because they thought they were just setting up their TV. Now, pile on the PlayStation connection. Own a PS5? Sony can now link your gaming habits with your streaming choices and your regular TV watching. Beat a racing game at 2 a.m.? Binged a car documentary the next day? Sony sees that pattern. And patterns are worth money. But wait, it gets better. Many Sony TVs come with Google TV built in, so your data flows to Sony and Google simultaneously. Two companies, double the tracking. Same you. The always-on microphone situation mirrors what we've seen before. Sounds resembling, "Hey Google," can wake it up accidentally. Your TV just casually listening, waiting for something that sounds close enough. Here's what really gets me, though. Sony charges premium prices. We're talking top-shelf money for these TVs. You'd think paying more means getting tracked less. Nope. You pay extra and get monitored the same amount as budget brands. It's like buying first-class tickets and still getting the middle seat. Risk verdict? Moderate high risk. But those budget brands I mentioned? They're hiding something far worse. Now here's where things get really interesting. And by interesting, I mean concerning. Hisense and TCL. You probably know them as the brands that let you get a 65-inch TV for the price of a nice dinner. In 2024, these two companies sold more televisions in America than Samsung. Let that sink in. Budget tracking technology now sits in more living rooms than the premium stuff. But here's the part nobody talks about. Both companies are Chinese-owned, and under China's national intelligence law, they're legally required to hand over data if Beijing asks. Your Thursday night binge-watching habits? Potentially accessible to a foreign government. That's not fear-mongering. That's just reading the law. TCL got caught in 2020 with a security flaw so bad that anyone who knew the back door could hijack millions of TVs remotely. We're talking complete access, change channels, turn on cameras if equipped, the works. Hisense isn't much better. Their VDA operating system plasters ads on your home screen and collects viewing data from everything connected via HDMI. Your cable box, your PlayStation, your old DVD player playing that embarrassing movie collection, all tracked. And TCL's partnership with Roku? Double the data collection. Your information flows to servers in Shenzhen and California simultaneously. Two companies tracking you for the price of one cheap TV. Security researchers found TCL transmitting data with zero encryption. Anyone on your Wi-Fi network could see exactly what you're watching. Your neighbor with the suspicious van potentially knows about your guilty pleasure reality shows? The verdict? Extreme risk. You saved $300 on that TV. But what did it actually cost you? Speaking of costs, let's talk about how to actually stop all this tracking. All right, so you know who's watching. Now let's fight back. Grab your remote. This is your kill switch manual. Vizio first. Head to System, then Reset and Admin, then Viewing Data. Toggle it off. Done? Not quite. This only stops the screen snapshot thing. They're still collecting other stuff. It's like closing one door in a house with 17 entrances. Samsung makes you work for it. Settings, General, Privacy choices. You'll find two toggles: Viewing Information Services and Internet-based advertising. Turn off both. Miss one, and you've done nothing. LG buried theirs deep. Settings, General. Additional settings. Live Plus. Kill it. But wait, there's more. Go back and find AI service, then disable voice information separately. Two completely different menus. Because apparently, that's fun for them. Roku's a sneaky one. Settings, Privacy, Smart TV Experience. Look for Use Information from TV Inputs. That's the antenna spying toggle. Turn it off. Amazon Fire TV, Settings, Preferences, Privacy Settings. Disable Device Usage Data. Then disable Collect App Usage Data. Yes, they're separate options. No, I don't know why. Here's what most people miss, though. Every single streaming app has its own tracking settings. Netflix? Log into their website, not the app. Find the privacy section. Same with Hulu. Same with Max. These settings hide online, not on your TV. I spent 45 minutes doing this on my own setup. 45 minutes. That's almost a full episode of whatever show they were tracking me watching. But here's the frustrating truth. Even after all this clicking and toggling, your TV still phones home. Which is why the next section covers defenses they really don't want you knowing about. Now here's where things get interesting. Because turning off those settings, that's just step one. If you really want to stop your TV from gossiping about you, ditch the built-in apps entirely. Grab an Apple TV or a dedicated streaming device instead. Why? Because one privacy policy is easier to manage than 17. But let's go deeper. Ever heard of Pi-hole? It's basically a bouncer for your entire home network. Install it on a Raspberry Pi, costs about $40, and it blocks your TV from even reaching advertising servers. Your TV tries to phone home. Pi-hole says, nope. Takes some technical know-how, sure. But once it's running, it works for every device in your house. Here's the lazy man's approach, though. Just don't connect your smart TV to Wi-Fi at all. Seriously, use it as a dumb display and plug in a separate streaming box. Now you've got one layer of tracking to worry about instead of two. My neighbor did this, and his TV still works perfectly 3 years later. He just can't use the apps that were spying on him anyway. And that microphone issue? Some TVs have them hidden in the bezel where you can't physically block them. Sneaky, right? Creating a separate guest network just for your TV helps too. Keeps it isolated from your phones, laptops, everything else in your home. One more thing most people miss completely. Before buying any new TV, actually read the privacy policy. I know, sounds about as fun as a root canal. But if you spot the phrase cross-device tracking, run the other direction. That's corporate speak for, we're going to follow you everywhere.